Welcome student. In this class I will discuss the topics like the main topics will be dynamism of the oceanic water, right? It will include the topics like tide, ebb, that is low tide, oceanic current, drift and oceanic wave, etc. There are two parts of the ocean. One is the water part of the ocean, okay? This is referred to as pelagic zone. Pelagic zone, and this part is referred to as benthic zone. Benthic zone, right? The aquatic part is referred to as pelagic zone, and the solid crustal part is referred to as benthic zone. Okay. Again, pelagic zone is divided to two parts, up to the depth of 200 meter, from the sea level. This is referred to as photic zone. Photic zone. Photic zone. Okay. And lower part is referred to as aphotic zone. Aphotic zone. Getting bola? Photic zone is the uppermost part of the oceanic water, where there is direct penetration of solar radiation. They are warmed up directly due to direct solar radiation. Okay. Whereas aphotic zone, in aphotic zone, there is no direct penetration of the solar radiation, but they get heated due to convectional process. Okay. Now see, as far as the question of dynamism of the oceanic water is concerned, actually oceanic water is never static, because Earth itself is rotating on its axis as well as revolving around the sun. Okay. So suppose any matter is associated with the dynamic object, so it will have dynamic character. Okay. So similar is the character of the water, right? And the movement or dynamism of the water in the oceanic water are of various type. Okay. One is actually in terms of dynamism of oceanic water. There are two type of dynamism. One is vertical dynamism and second is horizontal dynamism. Okay, right? Vertical movement or horizontal movement. Okay. Again, particularly you see in horizontal movement we have two components. One is ascending upward uplifting and second is downward descending. Okay. This is referred to as tide. This is referred to as ebb, EBB, or low tide. Again, in horizontal mobility, we have four components. One is referred to as drift. First is drift. Okay. Second is oceanic current, right? Third one is stream, and fourth one is oceanic wave. Getting well, right? So all this characterize the overall dynamism of the oceanic water. Getting well? We will discuss one to one. You see, I said that the vertical movement is referred to as tide and ebb. So it is said that the vertical rise and fall of oceanic water is referred to as tide and ebb respectively. Okay. What I am saying, again repeating, the vertical rise and fall of oceanic water, okay, is referred to as tide and ebb. Getting well now? Vertical rise and fall. Suppose this is coastal area, this is the average sea level. The sea water will recede upward up to this level, right? Or will return back up to this level, right? So this is referred to as tide and this is referred to as ebb. Ebb means low tide. Okay. This is periodic one, right? And this vertical upliftment is associated with several factors, but there are three important factors broadly. One is the ataxial pull of the moon, second is the ataxial pull of the sun, and third is the centrifugal force. Okay. So these three particular components are broadly considered responsible for vertical dynamism of the oceanic water, but the atraxial pull exerted by the moon and the sun is of most importance. Okay, right? Now, as far as the question of tide and ebb is concerned, the difference between the tide and ebb, this difference, okay, is referred to as tidal range. Tidal range. Getting well, right? And the highest tidal range in the world is noticed in Bay of Fundy in Canada. Getting well, tidal range. Tidal. What is the meaning of tidal range? It is clear, na? And you should know that whatever deposit will be made between high tide and low tide zone, this part of the coast, this coastal part is referred to as beach area, right? Oceanic beach. It is clear, na? Right? Mumbai beach, Goa beach is very famous and the center of attraction. Getting well? So as far as the question of tide and ebb is concerned, so tide and ebb is due to the attraction pull exerted by the moon and the sun. Getting well? And at the same time, you see one important point. As far as the question of tide and moon is concerned, so it is due to the attraction pull exerted by, mainly due to the attraction pull exerted by the moon and the sun. Okay. Actually, what type of attraction pull is responsible? So Newton propounded universal gravitational law, in which he stated that if two objects will be in the space, now, so there will be interaction between the two objects of the universe. If its mass is m1 and its mass is m2 and they are separated by distance r, then force will be m1 into m2. Okay, that attraction pull is the product of the mass of the two objects, and second is the attraction pull is inversely proportional to the square root of the distance of the two objects, na? Right? Combining these two particularly you will get F is proportional to m1 into m2 upon r square, or F is equal to g into m1 into m2 upon r square, where r is the constant of proportionality and it is referred to universal gravitational constant. It is not, it cannot be compared with that of g, a small g. It is clear, na? Right? A small g is the indicative of gravity, but it is universal gravitational constant. Okay? So actually, since moon and the sun are located, moon, sun and the earth are celestial objects, na? So that's why they would have been exerting this type of attraction pull depending on the volume, mass as well as the distance between the two. Okay? So though the size of the sun is enormously large as compared to that of the moon and the sun, moon and the earth, okay? But since it is far away from the earth, that's why attraction pull exerted by the sun is weak as compared to that of the moon. Okay? And hence the ratio between the attraction tide producing force exerted by moon and the sun is of the ratio of 11:5. It is clear, na? It means moon exerts 2 times more than twice an effective force in the tide formation as compared to that of the sun. Getting well? Now see, actually Newton propounded equilibrium theory to explain the tide. He said that the tide producing force exerted by the moon is the difference between the tide producing force exerted by the moon on the surface of the earth and the tide producing force exerted by the moon at the center of the earth. Getting well, na? Actually, suppose this is earth, na? Okay, and this is earth and this is the moon, na? Right? So actually this is moon, so and this is earth. So Newton said that the tide producing force exerted by the moon is the difference between the tide producing force exerted by the moon but on the surface of the earth. Suppose this is the force exerted at the surface of the earth by the moon, and this is F2 is the attraction pull exerted by the moon at the center of the earth. So actually he said that tide producing force is the difference between the two forces, that is F1 minus F2. If this is F1 and this is F2. Now if mass of the earth is m1 and mass of moon be considered unity, suppose, or you can take particularly its mass is m2, okay, then calculate f1 is equal to, if this distance is r and radius of the earth is a small r, right, then this distance will be r minus r, r minus r. It is clear, na? Right? So f1 is equal to g into m1 into m2 upon r minus r square. It is clear, na? R minus r square. This is first particular derivation. okay, and the axial pull exerted by the moon at the center of the earth is F2 is equal to G into M1 into M2 upon R squared, na? Right, upon R squared. It is clear, na? So he said that the tide producing force is the difference between the tide producing force exerted by the moon on the surface of the earth and at the particularly at the center of the earth. It means tide producing force is equal to, right, is equal to G into M1 into M2, okay, upon 1 upon R minus R square minus 1 upon R square. This is the mathematical explanation of the tide producing force exerted by the moon on the earth surface. It is clear, na? Right? So that's why it is clear, na? How it is calculated. What is the basic theme of this theory? It is the part of the equilibrium theory. Oh, right? And at the same time, you see Newton stated that, right, tide of the same amplitude, right, is recorded on the earth surface at the same time and at two places located antipodal to each other. Okay, actually what is the meaning of this? You see, if this is moon, okay, and this is the earth, getting well, na? So actually this is a place which is located here. This is earth, na? Earth, okay. So this is the A place which is located in front of the moon, okay, and this is B place located antipodal to A, okay. So Newton stated that the A and B will have the tide of the same amplitude at the same time, okay, at the same time. It is clear, right? So actually at the same time, it means what statement Newton given? Newton given that the tide of the same amplitude are recorded at the two places at the same time on the earth, and the two places are located antipodal to each other. It is obvious that at place A, right, tide is due to the axial pull exerted by the moon, okay, but at B tide is due to the centrifugal force, okay. This question was raised several times in UPSC prelims exams and pictographically. It is clear, na? So this is due to the axial pull exerted by the moon, and at B particularly it is due to the centrifugal force, okay, that is outer rotating force because earth rotates on its axis, you know, okay. So what is the position? It is clear, na? So actually you see, if you will calculate the tide producing force exerted by the moon and the sun, right, so you will actually they are not separately acting, okay, but you can study first taking into consideration them separately and then combine it, okay. Suppose you know that suppose this is earth, right, and moon revolve around the earth. It is clear, in elliptical axis. It is clear, right? This may be the position of the earth, moon. This may be the position of the moon, right? This is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. These are position. In case of A and C, moon is closest to the earth, right? This position is referred to as perigee, and the tide exerted during this period is referred to as perigean tide, okay. On the other hand, in case of B and D, moon will be far away from the sun, from the earth, and in this case, this position is referred to as apogee, and the tide experienced during this period is referred to as apogean tide. Getting well? Similar in the case of the sun. Suppose particularly you know this is the position of the sun, and earth revolve around the sun in elliptical axis. So again you see if these are the position of the earth with respect to sun, this is earth, this is earth, this is also earth, this is also earth, and this is also earth. Getting well, right? So again you see A, B, C and D. This figure exhibits that in A and C condition, right, sun, earth is close to the sun. This is referred to perihelion, okay. And in case of B and D, it is farthest, and what is the name? It is aperihelion. Getting well? So during perihelion, the tide is referred to as perihelion tide, and during aphelion, it is referred to as aphelion tide. It is clear, na? So what is tide? It is clear. At the same time, you see, tide at the same place is recorded, after the gap of 24 hours and 52 seconds. It is clear, 52 minutes. It is clear, na? Why? Suppose this is moon, okay? This is the position of moon, and this is the position of earth, and we are saying the tide at A place, okay? So actually A is, since A is closest to the moon, so that's why A will express tide. Getting well now? Okay. Actually, you see, since Earth rotates on its axis, right, and it take almost 24 hours to take the complete rotation, so that's why the A place will again return back in front of moon after 24 hours now, and hence tide should be repeated at the gap of 24 hours only, right? But you see, since moon is also dynamic, so that's why by the time this place of the earth comes here, the moon shifts itself at this place. Okay, to cover this distance, it required additional 52 minutes. Okay, so that's why tide is repeated at the gap of 24 hours and 52 minutes. Getting well, right? Too high and too low tide are recorded at a place within 24 hours and 52 minutes. Getting well? What is the actual position? Getting well? Again, particularly you see, if you will combine the figure of moon and sun both, okay, you may derive this figure. This is the position of the sun, okay, and you know that earth revolves around the sun in elliptical axis now. So this is the position of the earth. Again, this is the position of the earth. Again, this will be maybe the position of the earth, and this may be the position of the earth. Getting well? Okay. Again, see, you know that moon revolves around the earth now. So if moon is revolving around the earth, so it is located here. Again, particularly you see, right? This is the position of the moon. This is the position of the moon. Again, this is the position of the moon. Getting well now? Or this is the position of the moon. This is the position of the moon, or this may be the position of the moon. Getting well? Right? As moon rotates around the earth now, it is clear, right? So you see, with respect to sun, moon and the earth, we have 4 locations. This is first position A, right? A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. Getting well now? Right? But this is the pattern of revolution of the moon around the earth and also revolution of the sun, earth around the sun. Okay? So you see, in case of, or you can change the term, this is, suppose, this is A position, this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D now. So you see, in case of A and C, moon, sun and the earth are located along the same line. Okay, what is the name given to this position? Do you know? Right? It is referred to syzygy. Right? Syzygy. Okay. So actually, when moon, sun, and the earth are located in the same line, it is referred to syzygy. But if moon and the sun are located at right angle triangle with respect to earth, it is referred to as quadrature. So it means particularly you see A and C is syzygy. S, Y, Z, Y, G, Y, syzygy, it is clear na? Okay, and B and D represent the quadrature. Q, U, A, R, D, R, A, T, U, R, E. What is the basic difference between syzygy and quadrature? It is clear na? Again, see, we have 2 positions of quadrature, syzygy. Right? In position A, you see, moon and the sun are located along the same side of the earth. Okay? This is referred to as conjunction. This position is referred to as conjunction. This position is referred to as conjunction. C-O-N-J-U-N-C-T-I-O-N. Getting well now? But in C position, you see, moon and the sun are located in opposite direction to each other with respect to earth now. Okay? This is referred to as opposition. So it means there are 2 positions of syzygy. One is conjunction and second is opposition. Clear na? The conjunction position is referred to as new moon day. New moon day. Getting na? Right? And opposition position is referred to as full moon day. Full moon day. Getting well? New moon day and full moon day. Amavasya and Purnima. It is clear now? So during Sajgi, that is during new moon day and full moon day, right, or during conjunction and opposition, the height of the tide will be maximum, and it is referred to as spring tide, right? It means in the position of A and C, the tide will be referred to as spring tide, SPRING, spring tide. Getting well, right? A spring tide, whereas a spring tide, okay? Whereas in case of quadrature, the height of the tide will be low, and it is referred to a neap tide, NEAP, neap tide. Getting well? So it means in position A and D, C, there will be high tide known as a spring tide, and in position B and D, which is the position of the quadrature, the tide will be referred to as neap tide. It is clear, na? Right? So how particularly the position shift, it is clear, na? Right? You see, several theories were propounded to explain the tide. One of the important theory was the equilibrium theory propounded by Newton, na? Right? So this is considered most popular theory. This was the most popular theory, but there are certain limitations of this theory, right? One of the limitation is actually Newton considered the entire Earth as homogeneous, whereas this is not a reality. Okay, again particularly he tried to explain the entire aspect in mathematical terms, right? Because only he calculated the axial pull exerted the moon and the sun, whereas several celestial objects exist in the space universe. Okay, they would have been exerting the axial pull also, right? So he neglected this factor. But at the same time, you see, the theory is not capable to explain the fact why frequency of tide in English Channel is more. Okay, right? Actually, the frequency of tide in English Channel is twice as compared to that of the other coastal part of the world. Okay, so this fact cannot be explained on the basis of equilibrium theory, right? This fact can better be explained on the basis of progressive wave theory. Okay, है ना? Progressive wave theory consider tide and ebb, है ना? Compare tide and ebb with particularly crest and trough of the wave. It is clear, na? If this is coastal area, if coastal area collide with the crest, right, it experience tide. Getting well, na? But if it will collide with the trough, na, it will experience ebb, that is low tide. What is the basic concept? It is clear, na? And according to progressive wave theory, such tide producing force, है ना, always generate in the southern ocean. Okay, right? Always generate. You see, as far as the question of oceanic wave is concerned, it must be noted that there are two types of oceanic wave. Okay, one is free wave and second is forced wave. So free wave is due to normal atmospheric disturbance, whereas forced wave is due to the axial pull exerted by the moon and the sun. And when the wave originates, now since you know that actually in northern part of the continent is dominated by the land part, na? Land part, whereas southern part is dominated by the ocean, na? So that's why this such type of wave, है ना, such type of wave are more common in southern hemisphere, right? And this wave start from this area, है ना, flow from east to west direction. It is referred to as primary wave. Getting well, na? And it is the example of forced wave, because this force is due to this wave is due to the axial pull exerted by the moon and the sun. Okay, when this primary wave will collide with the coastal part, right, then it will take a northwardly direction, na? Okay, northward direction. You see, this is the position of Britain. It is clear, right? This is the position of Britain. So actually this is Iceland, etc., na? This is English Channel. This position is English Channel. It is clear, na? So as per this theory, inside English Channel, two waves enter, right? One wave from northern side and second wave from southern side. It is clear, na? Thus increasing the frequency of tide more as compared to that of other coastal region. It is clear, na? So if the question will be how you will explain the fact that the frequency of tide in English Channel is more, so it is better to explain it on the basis of the progressive wave theory, na? And another theory is also, particularly along with equilibrium theory and progressive wave theory, which is referred to as oscillation theory. Okay, so oscillation theory considered tide as a regional phenomena, and it tried to compare the ocean with that of the bucket filled with the water. Okay, normally if you will fill this bucket with the water, and water will be remain static, na? But if you will cause turbulence, you see, then this type of oscillation will start, na? It is clear, na? Right? This is A and A1. This is B and B1. It is clear, na? So if side of the oceanic area will experience tide, then another side will experience wave and vice versa. So this is referred to as oscillation theory. That's all. I think that most of the question in prelims will be from your classroom discussion. Okay, on these topics. Best of luck. Okay. कितने समय का हुआ देखिएगा. Okay, so we got the general idea about the tide, na? Right? So tide and wave are associated with the vertical mobility of the oceanic water. Now see, there are 4 types of horizontal mobility of the oceanic water, right? The first type of horizontal dynamism is referred to as drift, D-R-I-F-T, drift. Second is oceanic current, right? Third one is stream, and fourth one is oceanic wave. Getting well now? So we have 4 types of horizontal dynamism. 4 types of horizontal dynamism of the oceanic water. One is drift, second is oceanic current, third is stream, and fourth one is oceanic wave. Getting well now? Right? Oceanic wave. It is clear. One you should know that, right? Oceanic wave, among the 4 components, oceanic wave is referred to as agent of erosion, not the oceanic current. Okay? Oceanic wave is the agent of erosion. Getting well now? Right? But not the oceanic current. Getting well now? So as far as the question of drift is concerned, you see, actually you suppose this is oceanic area, right? And actually this water is filled on this oceanic in this area, na? If over the oceanic water very fast blowing wind blow, okay, so you see the wind will exert effective friction on the water, but almost 1.5 meter of the water remain highly under the remain influence under the drift under the frictional force of the wind. It is clear, na? So this is referred to as Ekman effect. Ekman was the first oceanographer who identified this type of friction. Okay, so this is referred to as Ekman effect, na? So due to the friction exerted by the wind, the oceanic water will also start moving in the same direction, na? So if horizontal movement of the oceanic water occurred due to the friction exerted by the wind, then it is referred to as drift. What is the meaning of drift? It is clear, na? If actually in the drift, there is drift is exclusively due to the friction exerted by the wind. Okay, and it is obvious that only a strongly blowing wind will cause effective friction, na? Weak wind component will not cause effective friction, and hence no such type of drift formation will be much more effective. It is clear, na? You know that in both the hemisphere, right? In both the hemisphere, in northern hemisphere as well as in southern hemisphere, right? Between 40 to 60 degree latitude, 40 to 60 degree latitude, very effective westerly wind blow. Okay, very effective westerly wind blow between 40 to 60 degree latitude in both the hemisphere, though it is more effective in southern hemisphere, where it is referred to as roaring 40 at 40 degrees south latitude, right? Furious 50 at 50 degrees south latitude, and screaming 60 at 60 degrees south latitude. It is clear, na? Right? So actually the wind will exert friction on the water, and hence the water will start moving in the same direction similar to that of the westerly wind in this zone. And since this movement, or certainly since it is due to the friction of the wind, it will be referred to as drift, na? And since it is due to the friction exerted with the westerly wind, that's why it is referred to as west wind drift, right? What is the name given to this? It is clear, na? It is known as west wind drift, right? So west wind drift is located in northern hemisphere as well as southern hemisphere, but in southern hemisphere they are much more effective. Okay, the west wind drift located in northern part of Atlantic Ocean is referred to as North Atlantic drift. Right, west wind drift located in the southern part of Atlantic Ocean is referred to as South Atlantic drift. In northern part of Pacific Ocean, it is referred to as North Pacific drift. In southern part of Pacific Ocean, it is referred to as South Pacific drift. There exists South Indian Ocean drift in the southern part of Indian Ocean, right? But you see the Indian Ocean not extend between 40 to 60 degree latitude in northern hemisphere, right? It is capped by the land, it is landlocked technically from the north. That's why you will not find North Indian Ocean drift. Getting well now? So in totality, we have 5 west wind drift on the surface, 2 in Atlantic Ocean, 2 in Pacific Ocean, and 1 in Indian Ocean. Getting well now? So what is drift? It is clear now? Second horizontal dynamism is the oceanic current. Very important. Okay. देखिए, actually oceanic current is defined as the horizontal movement of the oceanic water in a fixed direction with a particular fixed certain speed. Okay, direction is almost fixed. Well, the speed is almost fixed. It is clear now. This is referred to as oceanic current. Okay, oceanic current is very relevant because it modifies the climatic condition of the zone. Okay, of the coastal region. Getting well now? And the oceanic current are of 2 types on the basis of temperature, and this temperature difference is a relative concept because, right, it is with respect to the coastal area through which it is flowing. It is clear now? So there are 2 types of oceanic current. One is warm oceanic current and second is cold oceanic current. Getting well now? One is warm and second is cold. So warm oceanic current produces low pressure along the coastal area. It produces cyclonic condition and causes rainfall to occur along the coastal area. Getting well now? On the other hand, the coastal part which remain under the impact of the cold oceanic current, right? Cold oceanic current creates high pressure, creates anticyclonic condition, not allow the oceanic, not allow the cloud to produce and rainfall to occur. It is clear now? So that's why the coastal area which will remain under the impact of the cold oceanic current will be desert-like. It is clear now? Right? Most of the desert which are located along the coastal location are basically due to the impact of the cold current. As for example, you see Atacama is due to Peruvian current, right? Actually, Patagonia is due to Falkland current, right? California current caused the origin of Mojave Desert, Altar Desert, Sonoran Desert, right? Again, you see Canary current causes desertification in Sahara area, right? Again, you see, right, Little Karoo and Greater Karoo is due to the impact of Benguela current. Okay, so actually, wherever particular, again, you see West Australian current is the cold current, and hence it imparts complete desertification in the western part of Australia, known as West Australian current. It is clear now? So oceanic current is of much irrelevant, okay, because even it influences the economic condition of the area, because if the coastal part will be affected by the warm current, then adequate rainfall will be recorded, and hence this area will be suitable for agricultural activity. But if the coastal part is under the influence of the cold current, right, it will be desert-like and will not suitable for agricultural activity. It is clear now? So oceanic current is relevant on one hand from climatic point of view, economical point of view. It is clear now? It has ecological relevance also. It is clear now? Ecological relevance also. It is clear now? Right? So actually, what is oceanic current? It is clear now? And you see, I am just returning back now oceanic current in detail, okay? But you understand a stream. So actually, weak river is referred to as a stream. If certain part of the oceanic water will start flowing in such a way, right, that it appears like a river inside the ocean, owing to its relatively high velocity as compared to that of the remaining oceanic water, owing to its high temperature as compared to that of the remaining oceanic water, then it will appear like river in the ocean, and this is referred to as stream. As for example, Gulf Stream is the best example. That is clear now, right? it poses high temperature, it poses particularly high velocity. It is clear now, right? So what is stream? It is clear. So in all the three conditions, there is particularly horizontal movement of the water droplet. It is clear now, right? But you see, oceanic wave is quite different, right? In oceanic wave, there is a circulatory movement of the water droplet, right? Circular movement. And oceanic wave is in fact the mechanism of the transmission of energy inside the oceanic water. It is clear na? And you know that there are two types of oceanic wave. One is free and second is forced. So free wave is due to the normal atmospheric disturbance, and forced wave is due to the for attractional pull exerted by the moon and the sun. It is clear na? So actually we discussed about four type of horizontal component, horizontal dynamism of the oceanic water. Na? One is drift, second is oceanic current, third is you see a stream, and fourth one is oceanic wave. Okay, in my next particularly class I will discuss about oceanic current in detail. Best of luck. Okay.